of eliminating any agencies? I know conservatives in the past have talked about closing the Department of Education. Would you do that?
So we would do education, we would do commerce, we do energy, and we would do IRS.
Oh, wow, what a shocker. Ron DeSantis is floating the idea of abolishing the IRS. You know, the one government agency that ensures that federal taxes are being paid. Okay. Now, obviously, he's not gonna be able to do that. If anything, he'll probably push to further defund the IRS. But of course, what he's trying to message is, let's do away with the bureaucracy, let's do away with the regulations. But let's also keep it real, it ain't gonna happen because all the people surrounding DeSantis are hoping that should he win, they get appointed as the heads of these various federal government agencies. That's how this whole system works. But nonetheless, let's watch more from DeSantis as he tries to spin this into a culture war issue.
If Congress will work with me on doing that, we'll be able to reduce the size and scope of government. But what I'm also gonna do, Martha, is be prepared if Congress won't go that far. I'm gonna use those agencies to push back against woke ideology and against the leftism that we see creeping into all institutions of American life. So for example, with Department of Education, we reverse all the transgender sports stuff. Women's sports should be protected. We reverse policies trying to inject the curriculum into our schools. That will all be gone. We will make sure we have an accreditation system for higher ed, which is not trying to foment more things like DEI and CRT. So we'll be prepared to do both. Either way, it'll be a win for conservatives.
I gotta say, it is impressive that Ron DeSantis manages to spin everything into culture war issues. Everything. You know,
it was on brand.
That was on brand. This is what his platform is. It's nothing. He will do nothing for you. That is what he is actually saying here, right?
Yeah. Well, either way, it'll be a win for conservatives, certain conservatives, rich conservatives. It'll be a win for them. Yeah, getting rid of the IRS. I'm trying to figure out who that would benefit. Everybody probably, right? Just everyone evenly, all conservatives, poor conservatives probably would benefit from the elimination of the IRS. How does this work?
I'm just so thirsty at this point. I'm so thirsty for actual discussion and debate about substantive matters from our elected lawmakers. I'm so thirsty for it.
Yeah.
Instead, everything is a performance, everything is theater. Okay, I feel like I'm like forever like affixed to a seat at the Pantages Theater, watching the worst like theater show imaginable. It just won't end. It won't end.
That sounded good at first.
It did, but it
not
didn't.
If the show's bad.
Right.
I don't want that. Yeah, I get your thirst for policy, and like I don't think that if I can speak for you, I don't think that we're unreasonable to want at least some form of conservatives pushing policy. In my pre-show this morning on the Damage Report, I spun a possible sort of an industrial reinvigoration policy for the right wing that relies on vicious xenophobia against China to call for massive investment into basically American industry that would wipe clean the Chinese dominance on things like building, like they talk about, you know, the wind farms and everything. We don't have the wind farms, they're built in China. Okay, then we'll build it. We'll put massive investments into doing that until nobody wants to buy the Chinese ones. They'll buy ours instead. We're gonna build all of the chips. Like they could ride a wave of xenophobia to a reinvigorated American working industrial base.
John,
but they don't even do that.
Sweet, sweet John. Sweet, naive.
Is it not
John.
racist enough?
But John, you are making the mistake of thinking that these lawmakers have any interest in, you know, pressuring corporations to bring jobs back here in the United States.
Give them money. Free money for the rich.
We already do so much of that.
Free money for corporations.
So you're saying subsidize them to basically make up.
Subsidize an energy company that isn't already wildly profitable. It's a novel idea.
Yeah. Look, they have no interest in that. They have no
clearly
interest
not.
in it, right? And look, what corporations and what their corporate donors want more than anything is the freedom and the ability to exploit cheap labor in any country. So if anything, warmongering, the xenophobic nonsense toward China is going to essentially lead to these corporations moving these jobs to another country, possibly Mexico, for instance. I mean, that pattern or that trend has been ongoing anyway. But you do make a good point. I mean, there are opportunities for Republican lawmakers to actually do something that would be beneficial economically for the American people. And maybe that would mitigate some of the backlash they're experiencing as a result of rolling back reproductive rights, which has not been popular among the electorate. But they've got no interest in that. And of course, it's extremely unlikely that Ron DeSantis would be able to abolish all of these federal agencies. However, I do want to focus a little more on the IRS and the incessant attacks by Republican lawmakers toward the IRS. So just this January, House Republicans had a plan to abolish the IRS. Remember the very silly Fair Tax Act? If you don't remember, I'll remind you. The House of Representatives is planning to vote on a Republican bill that would abolish the national income tax, payroll tax, and estate tax, and replace it with a regressive tax, a single national consumption or sales tax on the purchase of goods and services. If passed, the Fair Tax Act would implement a 23% consumption tax on gross payments and also eliminate the IRS, which supporters say would no longer be needed. I don't know, John, seems like a really well thought out plan. What do you think?
If it's not needed, if they don't need it, if the rich don't think that we need it, they are the ones with the money. I guess that they would know. They just keep doing this over and over and over again. It's not popular. It can't win you a national election, but they just keep doing it because there are no standards whatsoever amongst right-wing voters.
Not only do they keep doing it, this effort dates back to the 1990s. So in 1999,
rebooting everything up in here.
They were trying to dismantle, Republicans specifically were trying to dismantle the IRS. Sadly, they have effectively accomplished that goal when it comes to dismantling the IRS and its ability to audit the wealthiest tax dodgers, something that we talk about quite often here. So per a report from the IRS, taxpayers earning $1 million or more were subject to an audit rate of just 0.7% in 2019, which was a sharp decline from 7.2% in 2011. So congratulations, GOP, well done. You did right by your corporate donors who tend to want to dodge their taxes and not pay their fair share. These economic populists, why don't we give them a round of applause? And Ron DeSantis, great performance, great performance. So pathetic.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.